this movie came out, we talked about Neon, it didn't launch as big as Longlegs. It didn't launch as big as that, and it didn't get as much buzz despite having Hunter Schafer, who's like a hot up and coming actress
Euphoria.
from Euphoria and from, she's been doing a bunch, she's famous and popular
Yes.
and young. Like, Sydney Sweeney was in Immaculate and really helped that movie go. Longlegs had its distinctive marketing and that really went. And this movie has these elements, and I feel like it's being taken little less advantage of by Neon, but maybe that's not true. Maybe that's just me, but I think it's kind of true. This is a German co-production. There's just a little less assuredness about Hunter Schafer as opposed to Sydney Sweeney or Cuckoo, and this director as opposed to Osgood Perkins and Longlegs, which they really felt good about. Because Cuckoo is kind of difficult. Cuckoo's not interested in giving you all the answers, which people do not like. You have to wait until the entire movie is over before you can sort of reflect on how the plot developed. And Brett, on the internet,
Mhm.
a lot of these plot heads, and I'm
Mhm.
sick of these plot heads. It's these
Yes.
guys addicted to plot. The plot heads, like, they need to be in control the entire time watching a film or they feel unsafe. If they aren't the smartest person in the room that knows all the answers at all times, plot heads cannot hang in the movie. This is a
Dude, the
movie,
plot heads are wild.
they're
'Cause
out of
really quick, a
control.
plot heads anecdote. Last week, we named The Happening as the best M. Night Shyamalan movie of all time. We said it deserves a big, big, big cultural sort of like rewatch and reappreciation of what's actually going on in the movie. And in the clip that we put out on TikTok, the clip, we're saying things like, The Happening is way ahead of its time. Like, I don't think we still understand what M. Night Shyamalan's actually doing in The Happening, this and that. I got so many comments that were like, um, we all know what's going on in The Happening. The plants are killing the people. And it's like, no, I know what the plot of the movie is. I am talking about like the thematic thrust of the movie and the meaning of the movie and the overall sort of like structure of the movie. These plot heads literally think the plot is the only did you not take like English classes in high school? Do you not
I know.
understand that like themes are part of the discussion?
I
What the
don't
fuck is wrong with these
I
people?
don't understand it. Also, why are you so addicted to the plot? It's
Yeah.
because their only lens through which they can approach any sort of film or artistic criticism is telling you what got right and what got wrong. Oh, there's a Starbucks cup
Yes,
in Game of
yes.
Thrones.
Oh,
So
no,
I'm
throw out the
right.
whole
So I'm
season.
fucking right about everything because it's like when Neil deGrasse Tyson has to do the shtick about why space is fake in this movie. This is everybody's approach to film criticism. Well, how was he supposed to get from point A to point B? Now, sometimes movies are trying to keep you engaged via plot and narrative devices and failing. Well, that's legitimate criticism. When these movies are built in sort of with like abstraction or sort of different voices or tenors or approaches to storytelling, people lose their minds and they become plot heads, which is silly because Cuckoo is a very intricately designed, very well
Ooh.
structured, a la a cuckoo clock, Brett.
I gotta
A
watch this. I gotta
well-structured movie
watch
that
this.
by the end, all of
You're
the
selling
pieces
me.
and all of the themes have fit together really
I'm
wonderfully.
glad to hear
It's
that.
a very original story. Though he's pulling from these different European influences, none of them are brazenly obvious, which is kind of pissing me off in horror recently, where it's like, okay, like you liked The Exorcist, okay, like I fucking got it, like check. Like you like Silence of the Lambs, that was good. Like I'm glad this is the same fucking movie. Cuckoo, this person has influences and watched movies, but just sort of like Brandon Cronenberg's Infinity Pool, it felt original despite this person under having inspirations. The cinematography in this was really wonderful. It wasn't a distraction. It stayed out of the way. It was confidently told. It didn't have that sharp stylistic flavor of Longlegs, but that, as much as that is an asset to Longlegs, I find it also to be a detriment when people try to it can be a detriment when people try to fancy it up and make shots look artistic for artistic's sake. This movie, much like the actual OG Silence of the Lambs by Demi, is just shot like a fucking movie and it looks great and it's well done. You know what I mean? It's not in your face with that cinematography. The cinematography is serving the story. Um, I thought the acting was very good. Hunter Schafer's really good in this movie. She carries the thing all the way through. The problem is that her acting partner is Dan Stevens, who is to
Uh-oh, here we
me
go, here we
no,
go.
the man Dan Stevens is an enigma to me, Brett. He's obviously always the production team's second choice. It's not that he's not talented, it's not that he's not handsome, it's not that he doesn't bring it. He's just like a human consolation prize, and it's sort of depressing to
Yeah.
watch him on screen. The energy he kinda gives is Emmy Award winner, and that doesn't really always, like, service the needs
Well,
of the
because
film.
speaking of a cuckoo
Yeah.
clock,
Mhm.
like clockwork, for the last 2 years, it seems like every 3 to 4 months, we get this, like, clearly this piece that has clearly been, like, planted by his PR team that is the headline is something like, "Dan Stevens enters his weirdo phase," or, like,
Right.
"Dan Stevens throws away marquee roles for, like, weird horror roles," or, like, "Dan Stevens is a freak and he wants the world to know it." And it's like, I need where is the fucking performance
I don't
that
know.
actually fucking cements this narrative?
Cuckoo
The
is
narrative is preceding the
yeah.
performances.
Yeah, he in Cuckoo, he rides the line of sinister and silly, and it's effective, and he's actually sort of understated, even though the movie is signaling hardcore, and his performance is too, that he is the bad guy from the second he's on the screen. He kind of pulls it back a smidgy, but ultimately, Dan is completely incapable of pulling it back. It's just he just has a vibe of it's a little too silly, a little too performative, a little too something. I don't wanna hate on you, Dan, you're handsome. You're funny and good, but you're never funny and great, and you're okay,
Let me
man.
let me
I
level
love
a
you, but you're
let me level a
okay.
challenge here
Yeah.
because I cannot do this anymore. I cannot do this like one foot in, one foot out. Is Dan Stevens our new like horror weirdo movie
No, he's not,
supporting
Brett, not at
actor?
all.
I can't. So here's what we're gonna do though, because like there is some industry force at work that is like making him get
Yeah,
cast in these roles,
budgets, they
and
can't
then
afford it, somebody else.
and then is like pushing the PR hard to make it seem like this is his choice, and he's like,
Uh,
and this is the new guy. So here's what we're gonna do. Okay, here's the challenge. Okay, I don't know who the director is, but remake The Shining. Dan Stevens is Jack Torrance. If it doesn't work, you're done. We never hear from you again. I want you to
it's not
put your money where your mouth is. One big role. You want to be the horror weirdo? Shining remake. You play Jack Torrance. Look, I think it's going to fail, but maybe it won't. Maybe you fucking nail it, okay? But here are the stakes. All in or all out. If the movie is a fucking flop and you're terrible at Jack Torrance, which you will be, then we're done with this narrative. We're done with Dan Stevens as the fucking horror like weirdo savior character actor. If it works, God, welcome to the pantheon, baby. But but I can't do this like little one foot in, one foot out thing anymore, okay? Or like this sort of like lingering narrative that Dan Stevens is the new horror weirdo supporting character actor. Let's go big and decide if this is real or not, and then be done with it one way or the other.
he's born to have a 6-week vanity run as Billy Flynn on Broadway. That's like that is what he is born to do.
Okay, sorry. Scratch the Shining thing. Sweeney Todd, like the
Okay,
latest
yeah,
version of
right.
Sweeney Todd. You do
You
Sweeney
can play
Todd.
Pirelli.
It will then we decide if it works or not.
Anyway, I was
You don't
surprised.
even play Sweeney Todd.
No,
In
no,
Joe's
he's
version, you're not even
no,
Sweeney Todd.
you're Pirelli. Folks, if you're following me on Letterboxd, that is fun.
And you better be.
Thank you very much. You can always check with my 2024 horror movie power rankings, and yes, the power
Where we
rankings
at?
are
Where we at?
subject
Where
to
we at?
change because that's what a power ranking is all about. Cuckoo did really well, folks. It's coming in week 1 at 5, right over Longlegs,
Okay.
pushing Longlegs to 6.
Whoa, above Longlegs.
I liked Cuckoo a little tiny bit more than Longlegs.
This is great to
even
hear.
though I think Longlegs is a smarter piece of work. Cuckoo is I like it a little bit more because it really was original. I really liked the performances. I thought the script was really good. And unlike Longlegs, I thought Longlegs, for as good as it was, fell apart in Act 3 after Nick. Oh, I don't want to give it away, but whatever. It falls apart in Act 3.
This is why you know Joe likes Cuckoo though, is we're not even getting any like remote Cuckoo spoilers. This is why we know that Joe
No,
actually likes Cuckoo.
no,
The
I did
spoilers
like
come
Cuckoo.
out of like a contempt for the movie is when you get spoilers.
I,
So
I
when you
think
don't get any spoilers, it
no.
means it's a good movie.
I think there's some frustrating parts of Cuckoo. I think that it hits sort of some roadblocks here and there, but overall, it feels original. It's exciting. I liked Hunter Schafer's performance, and I really loved the art direction. I thought her costumer was going for iconic Hunter Schafer horror role, and this I don't know who did it, but the costume designer, nailed it. I loved the way Hunter Schafer was dressed throughout the film and the way her body unfortunately falls apart. And she just looks so funny and good
So
throughout
there's
the
some
movie.
body horror vibes in this?
Well, there's some Cronenbergian
I gotta watch it. I'm gonna
slaps
watch
of
this
it.
movie. I'm gonna watch this
The
movie.
movie is people don't like it because they're like, well, what's the point? Well, the point is a good story well told.
What's the point? Fuck off.
What's the point of your fucking pathetic
Thank
life?
you.
To check your fucking
Thank you.
Experian course? Sorry.
Credit score? What do you think?
Yeah, I was just like, wait, what's the point of Cuckoo? The
I'm
the
very
point is to
excited.
have a really fun 2 hours.
I'm
with
very
your
excited
friends
to
at the
see how your
movies.
horror power rankings evolve in the next couple weeks. Because just to preview, and if you are not already, make sure, please, I'm begging you, this is free of charge, takes 1 second. Subscribe to our YouTube channel. We are getting close to being able to monetize our YouTube channel, which is going to be a huge fucking help to this show and the future of this show. And all you have to do to help us get there is no cost to you. Just go subscribe to our YouTube channel. It's youtube.com/moviesbaby. But you'll be able to see our upcoming like movies that we're going to be reviewing week by week. And Joe, I mean, your horror rankings are gonna go through some twists and turns because we've got Alien Romulus coming up, we've got The Crow coming up, we've got Beetlejuice coming up, we've got the James McAvoy led Speak No Evil coming up. That's all by mid-September. So you've got a lot. There's gonna be a
Right, that's
lot
even
of
before
twists
October
and turns.
happens.
A lot of twists and
It's
turns.
going to be fun,
coming
folks.
up.
Yeah. So, check back into the show. We're always doing our horror rankings. Anyway, Cuckoo, welcome to the list, baby. You premiered really great.
Wow.
We'll see where you stand next week, but good movie. Totally fun movie, despite Dan danning a little bit. Dan was also fun in a lot
Dan
of
doing
parts.
Dan. Dan's gonna Dan.
I have no hatred towards Dan. He's just a television actor. That's all.